Hello, everybody, and welcome to Where Are They Now in Sports? This is brought to you by Malibu Clothes. Get your suits right here at the Malibu Clothes building in Beverly Hills. And if you're not in the area, all you have to do is go to www.malibuclothesbh.com. Today's guest is a former Major League Baseball player. Won the Gold Glove 4 times, was a 3-time All-Star selection, and a 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Please welcome Bret Boone. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Just chilling. I'm hanging out and trying to wrangle in 4 kids. So
Well, yeah, I don't blame you.
that's what I'm doing.
So, Bret, you growing up, how many people played in the major leagues in your family?
I think at least a couple.
Couple?
I think 2 or 3. No, Gramps, Dad, myself, Aaron. So we got 4. I got 3 young boys, and we'll see. Who knows? I got a 14-year-old boy. I got a 17-year-old girl. She's going to USC and going to play some volleyball. And I got a 14-year-old boy, and I got twin 9-year-olds. So we'll see. Who knows? They got. I think it's. I'm going to repeat what Grandpa said. They got pretty good genes, and
Yeah.
I have to agree with that.
I totally agree. So, what was it like you growing up? What was dinner like? I mean, it's not fair for your mom. It's your brother Aaron, your father. I mean, did she ever, if she talked about something, you guys just talk about baseball? What was it like?
I'll tell you this: the most knowledgeable woman I've ever known is my grandmother, which was Grandpa Ray's wife, Patsy.
Mm-hmm.
She's been to more games than anybody can shake a stick at. I mean, she was unbelievable. I mean, think about her. She followed Grandpa, she followed my dad, she followed myself, she followed Aaron. And this woman, if anybody knows anything about baseball, Grandma Patsy did. And she was an angel, and she passed away about 5 years ago. But talk about just logging some hours and doing some time. She was the epitome of it. Mom's not far behind her. I mean, Mom, has been with Dad now for 45 years, and been through all his career and his post career, and she's got to see Grandpa when he was young, and myself and Aaron. So it's pretty cool stuff. I mean, it's neat when you look back and you talk to the women in your lives. It's like, wow, they've seen a lot.
When you were in high school, were you the man?
I'm not going to be like the pretty girl that says, "Oh, I was ugly in high school." Yes, I was the man.
Oh, okay, so you were you were putting up numbers in high school? Were you hitting
Yeah.
bombs?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I was, and all the scouts told me I was too small. And I said, "Really? I'll show you." It was
And
one of those things.
you, how many other colleges offered you a scholarship besides?
I'll tell you what. I probably SC was a late. They came in late. Nowadays it's different. I think a lot of people get a lot more offers earlier on in college. But I was a late. I was a late bloomer, and SC came in really late. The middle of my senior year. But I was very interested in U of A and Arizona State and Loyola and Texas and Oklahoma. So I probably had 5 or 6 scholarship offers when I took USC, and I just thought USC it was perfect for me because it was I grew up in Orange County. I went to high school in Orange County, and I figured it's perfect. It's 50 minutes away from mom, and it's 50 minutes away from mom.
USC, tell me about this legendary coach.
Rodato, classic guy. I never got a chance to play for him. My first year at USC, Gillespie, that was his first year coaching, so he was taking over for Rodato. I've been to many banquets where Rod spoke, and you talk about somebody that can hold an audience and entertain. He's right up there with Tommy Lasorda. When I go to events and Tommy's there, I know they're going to hand him the mic. They're just some guys that are just they have that gift for gab and can entertain an audience. Tommy's one of them. Rod Data was another one. I mean, you talk about just entertaining a room. He was unbelievable.
When you got drafted in the 5th round, and then what was that like?
Oh, looking back, it was so funny. I mean, it was, going into the year, I was preseason supposed to be the 25th pick overall. And I remember I got the phone call in Seattle. Seattle Mariners called me and they said, Brett, we got some good news and bad news. And I said, what's the good news? Said, the good news is we got you. Bad news is you're not going to like where you were picked. And I said, what am I picked in the second round? They said, no, first pick in the fifth round. And, here I am, a 20-year-old little, I hate to use the word, but kind of arrogant guys. How dare you pick me in the fifth round? And my dad came to me and he said, Brett, the bottom line is it doesn't matter. You can't change where you're picked. My suggestion to you is get the contract signed, be done with it, and go off and play baseball. And, if you're going to be a big league guy, you're going to be a big league guy. If not, you're going to have to get a job anyway. It was kind of the best advice I've ever had. And I went off and I took that attitude and, I was fortunate enough. A year and a half later, I was in the big leagues. So,
Where were you when you got called up to the big leagues?
I was in Calgary, Canada. Like I said, Raul Mondesi's playing right field for Albuquerque. I get a base hit to right field. I round the base. He throws behind me. I was safe. And my manager at the time, his name was Keith Bodie. I'll never forget that guy's name. And he came running out in the field and he said, Brett, you're out of the game. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you didn't hustle. I said, I didn't hustle. What are you talking about? I said, get off the field. I kind of pushed him aside and he got in my face. He said, I'm serious. He said, I didn't like the way you ran down the line and so-and-so is going to pinch run for you. I said, the hell he is. I said, get out of my face. And we got into a big scuffle at first base. And finally, he's like, I'm the manager, and what I say goes. And, the bottom line is your manager is telling you to get out of the game, you're out of the game. So I threw my helmet and, made a big scene about it. And then he walked up to me and goes, I'm just kidding, you're going to the big leagues. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh, are you serious? And then a bunch of cameras came out from left field, and it was kind of surreal and pretty cool, though. I mean, he deked me. It's like, that was the 1991 version of Punk'd.
Right. So you played for Seattle 92-93. What was it like coming up and you see Ken Griffey Jr.? I know he was still young at the time.
Oh, he was so good. And it's like, the thing I had a tough time really relating to is we're the same age. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was really good. And I get to the big leagues really quick, and and I'm sitting there and I'm playing with Kenny. It's like we're the same age, and this guy is so much better than me physically. And I'm thinking, I thought I was good, What an unbelievable talent. Still to this day, best player I ever played with. Best player I've ever seen outside of Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is, in my eyes, the greatest player ever to walk the earth. No one's even close.
But how natural was his swing, Brett, when
Kenny? Oh,
yeah.
Unbelievable. And the things he'd tell you and the calls he would make and, I'm going to do this tonight, I'm going to do that tonight. And then he'd do it and you're looking at him like, who is this guy? It's pretty awesome stuff. And it was fun to watch.
So now you get to Cincinnati, playing second base along with a Hall of Famer. Well, now he's a Hall of Famer, Barry Larkin. What was it like playing with him? Did you learn anything from him?
What I learned from Barry is, everybody talks about team leaders and, who's a leader, who's not a leader. I found through my career is leaders, you can't make a leader. I mean, you lead by example. It's not about the guy that gets up on a soapbox and talks down to you or yells and throws a lot of cuss words out. It's leaders to me are guys that go out and do their job, and usually they're great players. But how do they go about what they do? It's not about what they say; it's about what they do. And Barry was one of those guys. He didn't say much; he just went about his business, and he led by example. And leading by example, I mean, he went out. It's the way he played the game, and I tried to do that throughout my career. It's not about the numbers I was putting up or what I said or how many homers I hit. It was about how do I go about my business? How do I what's the word I'm looking for? How do I carry myself?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's most important.
As far as double plays, these guys, they take you out hard. I mean, is that their job?
They couldn't. I used to laugh at guys that tried to take me out. I said, you can't take me out. If I do it correctly, unless you're cheating and doing something illegal, you cannot get me. And I used to tell guys that all the time. And, by the end of my career, the guys used to come up to me and said, we can't get you. And they really couldn't. If you do it correctly at second base, they cannot hurt you, unless they do something illegal. If they come in high or they kick or they do something like that. And if they did something like that, well, I got something for them too. I'm going to throw one right here. Right here. If you do something illegal with me at second base, I'm going to get you. But I'll tell you what, to this day, nobody can get me. They still can't get me. I'll tell you what, I'll go out and play tomorrow night for whatever team you want. You cannot get me.
Right.
But I'll tell you, I might not be able to play the next day because my knees will be hurting so bad, but you cannot get me on a double play.
Your brother Aaron, he got called up in 97.
Mm-hmm.
Did you literally hang out with him every day? I mean, what was it like?
I don't really care for my brother at all.
Oh, come on now. Really?
No, I got a chance to play with Aaron in 98. We were in the same infield. And Aaron and myself, we're oil and water. We're different guys. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the time we got to spend together. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, how many brothers get to play at a big league infield together?
Yeah.
Very rare. And it was really cool. And Aaron went on to have a real nice career, and I enjoyed our time. In 98, I enjoyed our time together, and it's pretty cool. I think when you're playing, you really don't have a chance to really sit there and enjoy what's really happening to you. When you retire and you're done, you kind of look back like, wow, that was really cool, or that was really cool. But when you're going through it, the grind is so heavy and it's so much pressure. It's like you kind of get through it. But looking back, yeah, there were special times, and I'll never be able to replace those.
What's just the most special time? I think this is the best. Is when Jack McKeon posted the lineup in 1998, the last game of the season, and you had two sets of brothers.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, Larkin's brothers playing first. Aaron's at third. Barry's at short. I'm at second. The funny thing is, look at the box score. Barry and myself, I think we got no hits. I think we were over 8. And I think the kids got a couple of hits.
Right, yeah. So now you get traded to Atlanta? Is that what it was? Or you signed?
Atlanta in 99, yeah.
So obviously you went to the World Series against the Yankees.
Right.
Talk to me about Yankee Stadium. Is that place crazy when you played?
It's haunted. Probably my favorite place to play. I was fortunate enough to have a couple postseasons at Yankee Stadium, and just the aura, and when you just go out before the game and just the feeling you have, it's like where you're at. I can't explain it any other way than that. It's like I would be warming up and running my sprints on the line. It's like I know it's Game 3 and we're at Yankee Stadium. There's just a feeling about it, and you can't really replace that. My postseasons at Yankee Stadium haven't been good. I lost every time, but what a special place.
Now, 2001, unbelievable season. I mean, you guys fell short to the Yankees, but 116 wins. You came back with the Seattle Mariners.
How did we possibly lose? I mean, that's one of those years where you just say, we'll never lose another game. And we lost to the Yankees. And, it was a series where neither team played very well. Just they played a little better than we did. But it's not like they played great. I think that particular year, we swept them twice at home that year. I think we were 8-0 at Yankee Stadium. I don't know. You can check the history on that. I'm not sure, but I think we went 8-0 at Yankee Stadium that year. And postseason, they got us.
What was it like playing for Lou Piniella? What was his style?
Lou's awesome. I mean, he's a veteran-oriented guy. I came up with Lou early in my career. I played for him. We had our fights, drop dead, drag out fights, and the second time around, 2001, I came back to Seattle. I'd have to say at this point in my life, favorite manager I've ever had. I mean, just awesome guy.
Brett, what would he tell you? What would he tell you? Like, let's say you're slumping. Would he give you that look like, come on, man,
Oh,
step it
no.
up?
Well, me and him had a different relationship. He'd come to me and he'd say, he wouldn't talk to me on the side. He'd kind of call me out in front of everybody and say, "Hey guys, if you're waiting for Boone today, you're going to be waiting a long time." And I'd look at Lou, I'd say, "You son of a bitch." But that's the relationship Lou and myself had. I mean, it was just one of those love-hate relationships, but at the end of the day, he's my favorite of all time.
And 2003, they actually gave you an opportunity to announce the games in the postseason.
Yeah.
It's Game 7, Yankee Stadium, 11th inning, bottom of the 11th, tie game. Tell me about that experience.
Weird, because Fox came to me before the postseason, and they're trying to get me to do the games, and I thought, we won 95 games that year. We didn't make the playoffs, and I thought, the last thing I want to do is go be a host on the postseason. And then I saw, hey, Aaron's going to play, so maybe I'll get to see him a little bit. And so we negotiated with Fox and back and forth, and then they got the money where I wanted. I'm like, all right, I'll go for that. And, worst case scenario, I get to see Aaron play some games. The night before, the day before, I know Aaron's having a really tough postseason. I mean, he is just can't get a hit. And it's after Game 6. I go back to his apartment, and, my sister-in-law is there, Aaron's wife, Laura. And I walk into his, hotel, and I'm thinking, I got to cheer him up a little bit, before I go out tonight. And I remember walking in and saying, Aaron, here's the deal. Tomorrow and the next day being Game 7, I said, you know what? You've had a terrible postseason. I said, but if you get a base hit, if you hit a sacrifice fly tomorrow with a key run, I said, nobody's going to remember how bad of a postseason you've had. I said, so think about it that way. You get a base hit tomorrow to tie the game in the 8th. Nobody remembers, how bad you were this whole series. And I tried, it was kind of one of those pump you up conversations. And I remember leaving his apartment. He was down. I remember him being down. And the next day, he wasn't in the lineup. That home run was a pinch hit.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I remember going up in the booth, and McCarver and Buck were like, hey, your brother's not playing. I said, would you play him right now? He's swinging like shit.
Right.
And I just remember, him coming on deck and Wakefield's, and I said, if he ever has a chance, because I know how, it's so, hitting is so hard. And when you're in one of those slumps where you just can't get a hit, you know what? Maybe a knuckleballer is what you need. And when you're swinging great and everything looks like a beach ball, the knuckleballer is the last thing you want to see. So I said, it can't hurt. He can't hit the conventional guy, so maybe this is good for him. And I remember him coming to the plate, and he hit the, as soon as he hit, I knew it was gone. I was kind of in shock. And I just kind of stood up, and I went, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Not only that was my brother, just that I was witnessing it, and it was just a really cool moment. And I remember the director in my ear, because you have earpieces when you're doing the game, and he said, Brett, that's perfect. Just stand there and be in awe like you are. He didn't have to tell me that. That was just kind of natural. It's just like, I was so proud of Aaron. I was so happy for him at the time. It's one of the biggest home runs in the history of the game. And, to this day, I tease him. I said, you got to have something on me. I was such a better player than you, but at least you did one thing that I've never done.
Did you go to the clubhouse right after and celebrate?
I did. I went down there, and I felt stupid because I would never in my life go into a Yankee clubhouse because I hate them. But I had to do it, and I went to the policemen that were there, and I said, listen, I got to go, and they just kind of smiled at me. They're like, "You got to give your brother a hug." I said, I have to. And I went in there and I gave him a quick hug, and I got out of there real quick.
Did you guys party afterwards? Did you guys go anywhere afterwards, or you just went home?
Aaron was with Laura, and I remember this. They had a private party for the Yankees only, where nobody really knew where it was. But he said, "Hey, come to this bar, and we're gonna have a private party." I walked into the bar. I said, "I'll come for 2 minutes." I walked in. I got up on the bench, and I made a toast. And I said, "Ladies and gentlemen," and everybody was there. Bernie Williams was there, and he's laughing at me because we're rivals, and Jeter's there, and I stood up on the counter and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, for one night and for one night only, I will say this: I am proud to say that I am Aaron Boone's brother." Thank you very much. And I walked out, and that was it.
Wow.
So it was cool though.
What's your take on Derek Jeter announcing that he will retire? I mean, what's your take on that?
Derek, you know what? I can't say anything other than, wow, what a career. If you wrote the script on how to promote yourself, that's Derek Jeter 101. I mean, what a good guy. How he carried himself, how he went about his business, as professional as I've ever seen anybody go about the game. And not only was he a great player, but just the consummate professional. I mean, just a good guy who always, didn't draw attention to himself. It's tough to have that Hall of Fame career and not have any, blurbs on your radar. And he really didn't. I mean, he was a consummate professional.
What are you doing now?
I'm working for the Oakland A's, and I'm about to go to spring training March 1st. I'm going to go for the entire minor league camp, and then during the season for the 5-6 months, I'm going to work probably 8 to 10 days a month and just go to the affiliates and just work with the young players. Kind of get my foot back in the door. I'm actually really excited about it, and this is what I want to do. I mean, this is what I've done my whole life. Is I've been in the game, and I want to continue on.
Bret, if there was a biography about you, which actor would you hire to play Bret Boone?
Without a doubt, Mr. Pitt. Come on.
Yeah. Why Brad Pitt? Why is that?
It's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites. Him and Tom Hanks. So either one. So I'd be happy with either one.
You must have loved him in Moneyball.
I loved him. Yeah, I think Brad's great. I think Tom Hanks is great.
Favorite TV shows you watching?
2.5 Men with the old guy, with Charlie, not the new guy. I like Kutcher, but he's not Charlie. He's not Charlie.
Charlie Sheen actually played at Santa Monica High School.
Oh, he's a huge baseball fan.
Yeah.
Huge Cincinnati Reds fan. I remember when I was at the Reds, he would be hanging out all the time.